The Dancing Plague of 1518, a historical enigma. In the summer of 1518, the streets of Strasbourg, then part of the Holy Roman Empire, witnessed an event so bizarre that it still baffles historians today. It all began with a single woman, Frau Trophia, who stepped into the streets and began to dance. This wasn't the joyous, rhythmic dance of celebration. It was frantic, uncontrollable, and relentless. What started as an isolated incident soon escalated into a full-blown epidemic, as more and more residents were compelled to join the strange, frenzied dance. Frau Trophia's dance continued for days, non-stop, without rest. Despite the onlookers' shock and attempts to intervene, nothing could stop her. Her feet, bloodied and blistered, seemed to have a mind of their own. The inexplicable event soon captured the attention of the entire city. Word of the dancing spread quickly, and it wasn't long before others started to join her. One by one, people from all walks of life were inexplicably drawn into the dance. The streets became a bewildering sight of men, women, and children, all caught in the grip of an unseen force. The city's authorities and clergy were left baffled, unable to provide an explanation or a cure. As the number of dancers grew, so did the concern and fear among the residents. The authorities initially viewed it as a local curiosity, something that might pass on its own. But as the days turned into weeks, it became clear that this was something far more serious. This mysterious plague of dancing showed no signs of abating. Many turned to the church for answers, praying for divine intervention. The clergy declared that the dancing was a sign of God's wrath, a punishment for the sins of the people. Others believed it to be the work of demonic forces. Whatever the cause, the dancing plague had become a crisis that demanded a solution. The Outbreak Spread. Within a week, dozens of people were dancing uncontrollably in the streets. Local authorities were alarmed, and the city's physicians were called in to investigate. At the time, medical knowledge was rudimentary, and the doctors could only speculate about the cause. They concluded that the dancers were suffering from hot blood, and needed to dance the fever away. The dancing plague continued to spread, affecting more than 400 people. The afflicted danced for days, some until they collapsed from exhaustion or even died from heart attacks and strokes. As panic set in, the city council decided to take drastic measures, believing that providing more music and space would help the dancers recover. They hired musicians and set up stages, turning the town into an impromptu dance hall, but the epidemic only grew worse. To address the crisis, the city council decided to take drastic measures. They constructed a stage and brought in musicians to keep the dancers moving. The idea was to exhaust the dancers and bring the plague to an end. However, this solution backfired, leading to even more chaos. The decision to provide music and space for dancing only exacerbated the problem. More people joined in, and the dancing continued day and night. The physician's advice seemed to do more harm than good. The streets of Strasbourg turned into a scene of endless, frenetic dancing. The physical toll on the dancers was immense. Many collapsed from exhaustion, and some even died from heart attacks or strokes. Despite their suffering, the dancers were unable to stop themselves. The authorities were at a loss, with no idea how to halt the deadly dance. As the epidemic wore on, frustration and fear gripped the city. The usual remedies and prayers seemed ineffective. The dancing plague defied all logical explanations and solutions. The situation grew increasingly desperate, with no end in sight. The city's streets, once vibrant with life, had become scenes of anguish and despair. Families watched helplessly as loved ones succumbed to the inexplicable urge to dance. The more they danced, the more exhausted they became, and yet the compulsion continued. Strasbourg was engulfed in a nightmarish dance that seemed to have no resolution. Historical context. To understand why the dancing plague occurred, we must delve into the historical context of Strasbourg in 1518. The region was suffering from severe famine, poverty, and the aftermath of disease outbreaks. The populace was also deeply religious, living in fear of divine punishment and constantly seeking signs of God's will. These harsh conditions likely contributed to a collective psychological state primed for mass hysteria, where extreme stress manifested in bizarre physical symptoms. The 16th century was a time of great turmoil and hardship. Widespread famine had left many without enough food, leading to malnutrition and weakened health. The Black Death, though it had peaked earlier, still cast a long shadow over Europe, instilling a pervasive fear of death and disease. These factors created a fertile ground for collective psychological disturbances. In such times of crisis, people often turn to religion for solace and explanations. The Church held significant power and influence, interpreting natural and social events as manifestations of divine will. Public processions, penance rituals, and fervent prayers were common responses to disasters. The belief that sin brought about such calamities was deeply ingrained. Historical records from the period provide insights into the mindset of the people. Many saw the dancing plague as a form of divine retribution or demonic possession. Chroniclers of the time documented the events with a mix of awe and fear, often framing them within the religious and superstitious beliefs of the era. This collective mindset shaped the response to the epidemic. The combination of extreme physical hardship and intense religious fervor created a volatile psychological environment. The dancing plague can be seen as a desperate, unconscious response to unbearable stress and fear. As the epidemic continued, these underlying conditions remained unaddressed, perpetuating the cycle of suffering and confusion. Theories and explanations. Over the centuries, numerous theories have been proposed to explain the dancing plague of 1518. Some historians and scientists believe it was a case of mass hysteria or collective stress-induced psychosis. This theory suggests that the extreme hardships faced by the people of Strasbourg led to a psychological breakdown on a mass scale. The phenomenon can be compared to other instances of mass hysteria throughout history. Another theory posits that the dancers were suffering from ergotism, a condition caused by consuming rye infected with ergot fungus. Ergot contains chemicals similar to LSD, which can cause hallucinations, convulsions, and other symptoms. While this theory provides a plausible explanation for the physical symptoms, it doesn't fully account for the widespread nature of the event. Medical explanations from the time ranged from hot blood to demonic possession. The idea that the dancers needed to dance the fever away was rooted in the humoral theory of medicine. Modern interpretations suggest that this response may have inadvertently reinforced the dancers' behavior, perpetuating the epidemic. The lack of medical knowledge and the influence of superstition played significant roles. Religious and cultural factors also contributed to the plague. The belief in divine punishment and the power of communal penance may have triggered and sustained the dancing. Public acts of contrition were common in times of crisis, and the dancing could have been seen as a form of penance. This perspective highlights the complex interplay between psychology, culture, and belief. Today, the dancing plague remains a topic of fascination and study. Modern psychologists and historians continue to explore the event, offering new insights and theories. While no single explanation has been universally accepted, the plague is often seen as a multifaceted phenomenon. It serves as a reminder of the profound impact of psychological, social, and environmental factors on human behavior. The dancing plague of 1518 is one of history's most peculiar and haunting mysteries. It challenges our understanding of human psychology and the ways in which we respond to extreme stress and fear. The event has left an indelible mark on Strasbourg's history and continues to intrigue scholars and curious minds alike. Despite centuries of study, the true cause of the dancing plague remains elusive. Was it a case of mass hysteria, a reaction to poisoned grain, or something else entirely? The mystery endures, reminding us of the limits of our knowledge and the complexity of human behavior. Each new theory adds a layer to our understanding, but definitive answers remain out of reach. The dancing plague stands as a testament to the power of collective experience and the impact of historical context on human actions. It also serves as a cautionary tale about the interplay between mind, body, and environment. The lessons learned from this event continue to resonate, offering valuable insights into the human condition. As we reflect on the events of 1518, we are reminded that some mysteries may never be fully explained. The dancing plague is a stark example of how little we sometimes understand about ourselves and the world around us. It challenges us to keep questioning, keep exploring, and to accept that some answers may always remain just out of reach. Thank you for joining us on this journey into one of history's strangest episodes. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's greatest mysteries. Until next time, keep searching for the truth hidden in the past.